Before we see routing in action, let's see routing with some examples. You can see here we have a general pattern of routing. The first thing highlighted in blue here is the domain of the URL. When we run on the local computer, you will have a local host and a port number. Whatever is after that port number will be the route that we want to use when we are calling a page to be loaded. In the first example, you see we have something called as category, then we have an index and some number. When we are working with MVC, after our port number or domain, whatever is the first thing that we have will be the name of the controller. Then the next forward slash after that will be the action of the controller, and after that, if you have something, that will be the ID. This is the pattern of routing with MVC. If we go back to the application, you can see the same format right here. First, we have the controller name, then forward slash, we have an action name, then forward slash, we have the ID. That corresponds with the request that we have here. Keep in mind that ID is an optional field. Controller and action are not optional, but if they are not defined, we have set a default route that if there is no controller and action, you can use home controller and index action as the default route. Because of that, we have our home controller and we also have the index action, which I will show you. Before we dive into those details, based on the understanding that we have here, I have given some sample URL. I want you to try to find out what will be the controller, action, and ID based on this URL. Again, remember, if controller is not defined, default one that we have in our application is, let's go back the home controller, and if the action is not defined, that will be index action. So based on that, the first URL that we have, the controller name is category, the action is index, and we do not have any ID. For the next one, we have controller name as category, we do not have any action. So index will be the default action, and finally ID is null. Next, what we have, for the third one, we have controller as category, action as edit, and ID as 3. The last one, we have controller product, action details, and we have ID as 3. So with that, if you get a URL, now you can identify what is the controller name, what is the action name, and if there is an ID or not. So with that brief understanding of routing, let's actually run our application and see routing in action in the next video.